So just a little problem.
Your hair looks good, Mike. Your hair looks very thick. Looks very nice.
He does look good.
Yeah. Hey, thank you.
Might have grown in even thicker than it was before.
Yeah, well, they got good people in Turkey.
Oh, man. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. I watched a TikTok video about the hair tourism thing going on in Turkey, and it gives me so much hope. I've seen people, Mike, straight up looking like George Costanza. Just nothing here, coming back with real growing hair. I can't wait.
Yeah.
I cannot wait. Ron,
would you join us in our flight over to Turkey to get these bomb-ass hair transplants?
In a heartbeat, man. That's when this David Goliath thing with the hair with me was devastating.
All right, let's get a sponsor for it.
Oh,
Tom,
yeah.
I'm in.
Tom, I assume Tom wants to be in with us.
Tom's got to be in.
Tom is totally bald. Tom will be returning in a moment.
I like the idea of Chris having like Thor-like hair.
Just
taking off that hat and just shaking that
Ron,
mane.
Amin, Tom, and Mike go to Turkey.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. There you go.
I can't come?
Okay, Chris, you can come too.
Sponsored by Sheets and Giggles.
Yeah.
For no good reason. The trip you guys were going to take to because this is a really depressing day in South Florida. I was just talking about this with Haberstroh off air because he was saying he thought after game 2 at the arena that was a depressing day in South Florida because you got both the hockey team and basketball, big expectations. They both stink. But last night is worse. Last night's as bad a feeling as you can have if you care about this stuff.
Well, last night makes me question whether or not they can win the series in ways that Game 2 did not.
Oh, we're going to get into this a little more in a second, but Ron Magill joins us, and a lot of people did not hear him before we get more into the hair transplants because he was talking off air to the guys, and he said he was walking with his wife, and he talked with genuine awe about something that he had while he was walking. And I don't know why I'm surprised by this, but you love the animals so much, Ron, that your delight when another animal kills another animal, just at your sheer delight at seeing it, it's something I avoid in the wildlife videos. I don't want to see. I want the cheetah to. I don't want the cheetah to win. I want the cheetah to lose.
You want him to starve. You'd rather have the cheetah just.
I don't want
slow, miserable, starving death.
Ron.
Is that what you want, Dan?
Don't put that juju on me. I do not want the cheetah to die a horrible death. I simply want it to die a horrible death that I cannot see.
So out of sight, out of mind is what you're
That is correct. If you're going to videotape it for my entertainment, I can be amazed by wildlife without having to see something yelping. These things are awful. You've talked about it before. Some of the worst things you've seen and heard is an animal dying in pain, yelping out. So what did you see yesterday?
But that wasn't dying in pain. It was quick. So I'm walking with my wife, and all of a sudden I noticed this hawk launches out over a field. I said, look at that hawk. He's going to hunt. And sure enough, this dove comes flying through. And all of a sudden, the hawk goes after the dove. It's like the greatest dog fight in the world. You see him cut. And all of a sudden, you see the dove tiring. He hit the dove once, but the dove got away. And then all of a sudden, the dove is flying, goes up, goes high, and the peregrine comes straight down. And man, it was an explosion of feathers. Hits the peregrine. Both of them come crashing to the ground together. And he eats the peregrine. And the peregrine eats it wasn't a peregrine. Actually, it was a sharp-shinned hawk. Got this dove and started eating it. But I'm telling you, Dan, when you look at the way that animal maneuvered through the sky, it's like when I was talking to Stugotz before we went on air. It's the greatest Top Gun scene you can see, but in nature, man.
Speaking of Top Gun, Ron, I am wondering which animal would make the best fighter pilot. Which animal?
It's got to be the peregrine falcon.
Yeah.
Think about that. It's the fastest animal on the earth. It goes over 200 miles an hour and can turn on a dime. This thing is unbelievable to watch.
But they're in planes, so they don't have to be fast.
What do you mean they're in planes?
Well, they're Top Gun pilots. They're pilots. They're flying planes. You don't have to be fast to fly a plane.
You have to have fast reflexes. Of course you do.
You also have to have thumbs.
So you have a bird in the cockpit of a plane? That's ridiculous.
Okay, you know what's ridiculous? That you asked me the question in the first place.
Why?
The bird's like, I'm a bird!
Every portion of the question.
What am I doing in here?
Okay.
What's ridiculous is that you said that's the best Top Gun scene that I could view when I can name at least 7 of them that are better.
Okay, well, you haven't seen what I saw, did you, Mike?
You haven't seen the beach volleyball scene, apparently.
There it is.
Have you seen Top Gun, Ron?
I haven't seen the new one. I saw the old one, but I'm going to go see the new one. I already got my Cine Bistro ticket so I can watch it.
Romantic night.
You want to join me on Thursday? We rented a theater.
Cine Bistro.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, my God, yes.
Yeah, come on. I'll see you Thursday.
No one wants to sit behind Ron Magill at the theater.
Yeah,
we'll figure it out.
Behind Ron.
It's not great. It's not a great situation.
What's your call sign?
I've told you guys before, one of the worst times I've ever felt bad for a fan was when I was at a heavyweight fight and somebody thought they had good seats until Shaq sat down in front of them.
No, I promise I'll sit in the back.
And yes, this is a very exciting time with Top Gun. But getting back to what it is that you were talking about, they are correct when they say that's a ridiculous choice by you, the animal expert, to put a bird in the cockpit of a fighter plane. They want another animal for you that has like opposable thumbs, and so they can imagine something actually maneuvering an airplane.
Okay, then it's got to be a primate, doesn't it? And then that doesn't make it very interesting, okay? Because what you're doing is you want an animal that, first of all, knows how to fly, cuts very well, is not going to, you ever see those guys in the human beings or any other animal for that matter, and you go into a fighter pilot and you go into the G-forces and they go, and they pass out? Okay, peregrine falcons don't do that. Why? Because they're used to that, okay? They're built-in fighter pilots.
But they don't fly fast enough. Like 200 miles an hour may sound fast, but for a fighter jet, that's not fast.
Orangutan's going to fly faster than that.
In a jet, yes, Ron. Imagine an orangutan in a jet flying next to one of these little birds that you're talking about. It'll blow it out of the water.
Not if the bird is flying a jet equally as powerful as the jet the orangutan's flying.
Why would a bird be flying a jet? That's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous.
You brought it up in the first place,
no, it's
Billy.
Absurd.
I have a question for you, actually, speaking of orangutans and birds. So I saw this on Twitter, and people sent this to us and wanted us to ask you. So it's an either-or situation, Ron. Would you rather fight an orangutan with a sword once a year or fight a chicken every time you get in your car?
I fight a chicken every time I get in my car because once a year, it could be a one time and I'm dead, where the chicken's not going to kill me.
What was that sound of rebuttal, Billy?
Well,
what was that?
Chickens can kill you, number one.
Can a chicken kill me?
No.
Yes, it can.
Put it on the poll.
Well, if I get salmonella, it can kill me. But it can't.
There you go. Okay, if you want to eat
in a fight, a chicken could not kill me, right?
No.
What if it pecks you in your like femoral artery or something?
Huh, Ron?
Look at Ron's face.
Yeah, Ron. What do you say to that? What
every day? I mean, we're assuming that this chicken that lives in your car is not advancing its fighting skills. If every day it's fighting you, there's going to be new techniques, right?
All right. Every day it's fighting me. Is it the same chicken?
Yeah.
Okay, well, you see, if it's the same chicken, I just kill it on the first day. I'll grab it by its neck, I'll wring its neck, it's a dead chicken.
Wow.
This is our animal guy.
I don't understand why you can't be nicer to the animals than that.
I mean,
chicken
My God.
Come down and like feathers in the air. Contribute to its endowment, and he thinks that we should love the animal because he's somebody who loves to take care of the animal, and we've been giving all this money to his endowment.
Okay, this is the new bit. I got it. This is the new bit. I got it.
Fuck you, Ron! You've been wanting to say it for years!
Oh, wait a minute.
Fuck you!
Oh, my God.
I think we're going to have to clip that.
Please address him as Harvey.
Put a marker there.
Dr. McGill.
Unbelievable.
Ron, I've got a question for you. I saw a video of a crocodile swimming, and it had its hands up like jazz hands.
Crocodiles don't have hands; they have feet.
Whatever. It had its front feet up like jazz hands. What's that about?
Jazz feet.
There he is. Oh,
I don't know. I've seen a crocodile swimming with its feet up out of the water.
Out of the water.
Such a small window.
I have not seen that, so I have to look at that video. I can't explain it.
Okay.
Jazz feet. Let's get to the bottom of this. As Stugotz, so they don't have hands. They don't. Are there other places where we make that mistake in the animal kingdom, where we say something has hands, and the correction would be no, that those are feet?
Generally speaking, an animal that walks on all fours has 4 feet. Generally speaking. Now, of course, there's exceptions, and I'm sure Billy will point one out sometime sooner or later. But generally speaking, walking on all fours has 4 feet.
But also, they can be feet. I'm not even trying to be difficult here. That there are animals that use their feet as hands, right?
Absolutely.
Raccoons.
Yes. Well, a lot of primates do. Lemurs, gorillas, orangutans, spider monkeys.
But they don't become hands. They're still feet, is what you're saying.
Yes, they have a dual purpose.
Okay, so those animals, is there an animal that has hands that you would then describe as feet because you had to, but they're hands?
Look, if they're on the ground, they're feet. Enough said.
I mean, that's science.
Okay, I don't know about science, but generally speaking, they're consistently walking on all fours. Those are 4 feet.
I don't know that the audience would be surprised by this, but when
but look, let me give you an exception to that. The panda does walk on all fours, so it has 4 feet, but it can use those front paws as hands. Literally has like an opposable bone that enables it to hold the bamboo.
It's like a raccoon.
So that would be a classic example of a dual-purpose front appendage.
Like a raccoon, right? Raccoons
Yeah,
have
exactly.
I'm not,
Very well.
Ron, but I'm not trying to be funny when I ask you. I'm legitimately curious, and I'm learning something yet again, as we do almost every week. It sounds like you're saying raccoons and pandas they're the exception to the rule. They have hands. They're on the ground, but those are hands, not feet.
I would say that that's a dual purpose. They serve the dual purpose. They're not exclusively one or the other.
Have you ever heard an actual swan song?
I have, yes.
So in winning time, they talk about how the swan only sings once. I don't know if that's true, but it sings right before it dies, and it's a beautiful thing.
It's very romantic. It's very nice. I don't mean to pop your bubble there, Mike, but that's not what they do.
What?
They may sing right before
One-hit
they
wonder.
die, but they sing at other times too.
Oh, okay, but they do sing right before they die, right?
They could. I don't know. I've not seen a swan right before it dies.
Does a goose sing before he dies?
I don't know.
What are the beautiful tales in the animal kingdom, Ron? You can tell many of them that aren't romance, but whether it's the Black Widow or others, or a slew of bees willing to die for the queen. There are any number of stories in the animal kingdom like this that can be turned romantic, even though they're not romantic. What are some of your favorites?
I don't know about romantic, but certainly emotional. You know, when you see an elephant die and you see the rest of the herd literally come and mourn that elephant, you see them all come and gently touch and caress the elephant with their trunks, and they almost do it like in a routine where one goes after the other as if they're paying respects to that elephant. And then sometimes up to years later, they'll come back and pay homage to the bones. You know, they actually will stroke the bones, they'll smell the bones, and you hear this
tension,
this rumbling as if they're mourning. It's not funny, Mike. It's sad.
Well, it's a mean who's laughing. It's a mean who wanted to put a xenophobe joke in the middle of your heartwarming story.
Because they're all coming and stroking bones, and like no one else got any of that.
Yeah,
I caught all of it.
Oh. Yes, but you couldn't just let it be. You couldn't be mature enough to look at him. He was
bastards.
No, it was a beautiful thing, right? You don't even know what elephants are feeling there, right? We don't think, we do all the time. You're a zoo expert, and we make the mistake all the time of turning animals into human beings or having human emotions, but that's about as close as it can come, right? You're legitimately having an animal grieving.
I believe so. Yes, I believe so. I think there are a lot of humans that will sometimes debate me and say, oh, you know what? You can't give human emotions to animals. Who the hell are we to say that we're the only ones that can experience emotions such as panic or fear or happiness or sadness? I'm telling you, animals experience those same emotions.
Ron, I got a question for you. I'm reading a quote from Darwin that said, the sight of a feather in a peacock's tail, whenever I gaze at it, it makes me sick. The idea that this heavy thing that's totally superficial and colorful is weighing this animal down, which makes it seem like it shouldn't exist because it would get eaten up by other animals and predators being like, oh, that thing is weighing you down, I'm going to eat you, is actually, the peacock is actually surviving. So I'm wondering, is there anything out there?
Enough about Bam on a bio.
Is there anything in the animal kingdom that has flummoxed scientists or Darwinists that don't think that that animal should exist in 2022 but still does?
Man.
Geez, I had to think about that. I can't think of anything right off the top of my head. But you know what? The peacock has that because that's how he gets the peahen to look at him. Okay? Mm-hmm. That's how he gets to the sex. That's how he gets to reproduce. So it's not something that Darwin was an idiot to say what he said, because he obviously didn't study the peacock and the courtship and the need for those feathers to get the females to make more freaking peacocks.
Wait. Juju, you can clip that. I'm not. Darwin was an idiot?
Clip it. Darwin was an idiot to say that it was stupid that he doesn't understand the reason why
that he doesn't understand. He doesn't understand the power of the sexual drive. This Darwin. He doesn't understand that the peacock needs that more than it needs anything.
Sounds like Darwin needs to do a little bit more peacocking.
Unbelievable.
There you go.
Ron.
Did Darwin ever have any kids?
No, man. He was an incel.
Yeah. Well. Okay. There you go.
Good talking to you, Ron. Thank you. Very sad South Florida day here. We are in mourning and grieving as a show. You're a Heat fan. You're a giant Heat fan. What the hell was that? You're a basketball fan. 1 point, Ron, 1 point through the first 8 minutes. What the hell?
Brother, I was watching that in total disbelief. It was like there was a cellophane bridge on that hoop, and I could not understand it. But you know what? The old adage, it's one game. On to the next.
Okay, coaching cliches from Ron Magill. I loved, by the way, that Andrew Luck made an appearance in the middle of the question asking to Ron Magill.
The internet reveals that Charles Darwin had 10 children.
Okay, well then he knows about the peacocking.
Darwin was an idiot.
Quite
you
the
already
variance.
said it. You said, why did... Well, Amin was just doing the Stugotz thing of taking a guess
But
and
just
hoping
having 10 kids, he's an idiot.
Hoping nobody...
That's good, Stugotz. I'll see you guys next week.
Holy shit, Stugotz. You had 3 killers in like tiny windows. Three killers.
I operate in very, very small windows.
3 killers. Like that is a very efficient use of 15 minutes with Ron Magill that we've been doing for 10 years.
Most efficient me I've had.
No, but especially during that segment, right? We've been doing it so long that I can't imagine.
Yes.
Like the amount of times that you've asked him about that falcon and pretended to be interested by his answer.
Whoa!
And every time you ask that question, like once every 3 weeks. And he pretends every time like it's the first time he's getting it.
He's great like that. He's a good teammate, Ron.
Yes, he is. Yes, I am a less good teammate. Those were tiny windows, dude.
So, Stu, I sent you a text, and I reshared the Google Doc, so it's top of your inbox. So we're going to have to redo observations. Is that okay?
I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
So I need to add some from last night?
You don't have to. I mean, we were going to run it today without any references to last night.
We can sell it better, Stugotz, wherever it is. If they're like, just take a couple out that feel dated or whatever.
I did already. I went through it and I scrubbed it for old ones. But if you want to add anything that you're particularly...
Let me think here.
I added one on Al Horford. I put Al Horford, 1 of 2 from the floor, plus 33. That's Al Horford.
Okay. Thank you.
And then you can keep going. There's only one thing in the world that derails Golden State: 5 Al Horfords. If someone in the world can create 5 Al Horfords, you know who my champion is already? MVP of the league right now. No more games need to be played. Al Horford. Some of you have invested in this playoff ride, who might not care about Panthers hockey or Heat basketball and are tired of this stupid show talking so much about these stupid things when there's plenty of basketball and hockey to go around. But the show has been throughout our history trying to be about Miami, and this is an exciting time in sports. Last night was a crusher, and many of you like eating the show's tears. It's part of the fun of sports to be able to bury your friend. I believe Billy is happier than I've seen him in a long time. I believe that this is hidden behind a mask. I believe that he is enjoying the suffering of Roy and Chris Cody. Chris Cody, who got here 10 minutes ago to a Panther bandwagon and is now hopeless.
I was a season ticket holder last season.
Roy, who got here 25 years ago and deeply, deeply cares about this team and is totally crushed today.
Credential media member. I am crushed.
You look aged today. You have looked the same since I've known you. You look older today. This hockey team and the way that you care about it did something to you, and you look older today than you did before this series happened. Tampa Bay aged you.
It's only because I shaved, Dan. That's it. It's just because I shaved. I have no facial hair left. I look older now.
We'll go to Turkey and see if we can get you some hair implants.
Okay, good. I need a beard.
You were asked, Haberstroh, by Mike Ryan. You weren't in here. Will you go to Turkey with the group in a trip sponsored by Sheets and Giggles to get a whole bunch of hair transplants, as I said, in Turkey?
In Turkey?
Yeah, so that you would have long flowing hair. We were talking about Chris Cody having like Chris Jericho's hair.
Yep.
hair metal hair, would you be willing to go in a sponsored trip with the show to get your hair fixed since you're bald?
100%. Sign me up. I'm there.
Bring back Haberbro.
Yeah.
You ever seen a picture of Haberstroh with hair, like when he was in college?
Oh boy,
the biggest bro you've ever seen in your life. They call him Haberbro.
I would like to go to Turkey and get this done because I legitimately cannot grow a beard. I mean, it's worse than Sidney Crosby. He's all patchy. It's like nothing there. I need a beard.
The Paul Pierce.
So I just wanted to take a shot at Sidney Crosby.
All right,
yes, I did.
Everybody wants to go to Turkey to get the hair transplant.
I want to see with the James Harden type beard. They do that there.
Who? Roy?
Roy with a James Harden beard?
But it's got to have some grays in it.
Yeah.
Because he's wisdom. That's his call.
Yeah,
that's right.
Like that Browns running back coach.
But the gray wouldn't have been there 4 Panthers games ago.
Oh, no. Definitely got some
You're
more grays
broken.
going.
You're broken. You admitted to being concerned before when I knew you were scared. You're totally, your team, they tore your heart out. You're in here talking about hockey, and you're hurting today. You're playing hurt today, Roy, and you're hiding it behind this face, this bravado of, I'm the tough guy. Don't you know that if you mess with me, I'll beat you up? You've been creating that persona for 3 years. You're broken today, and you're hiding, and I need you to admit it.
All right. I went from concerned to very concerned to yes, this series is over and I'm broken now. So yes, I'm just waiting until next year right now to see that President's Trophy winner banner hanging up there without a ceremony.
No.
No, without a ceremony.
No, I want the ceremony.
No ceremony.
I bought the T-shirt already. I want the ceremony.
No.
We ain't got no history. I want it. We should bring you to Turkey. You'll get the beard transplant. You'll look like Stump Mitchell. And this.
Oh, great.
I mean, your call sign is wisdom.
Right.
What gives off more wisdom than a long, bushy, gray beard?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Speaking of which, the John Daly look this weekend, I don't even know how to describe it to people. It's so wonderful and it's crazed. And
I like that, Dan. I like how you said this weekend, as if he doesn't always just look
amazing.
amazing.
Yes, fair enough. But this weekend, the photographs, I couldn't believe them. It was a Santa Claus on acid with a giant beard, wearing the most colorful of pants, and with just a giant swaggering belly. A guy.
Yeah, that's him pretty much for the last decade, Dan.
Yeah, but Mike, it looks better when he's -2 and atop the leaderboard of the PGA. It does. It looks a little bit better, right?
My favorite image from that entire weekend, because I've actually gotten used to seeing John Daly this way, was the still image of after that incredible round of golf that he had, was him at the penny slots.
It's the best.
You have somewhere in the file a woman, or him, didn't we interview him about just throwing money, his life being so out of control at one point that he was just throwing money out the window of a moving car because he had arrived at a crazy place in life with fame and booze and recklessness and gambling, where, he arrived, he never expected to be a guy who made a big, giant, famous personality living off of being John Daly. And he became like a golf rock star, Stugotz, just because he was sloppy and reckless.
Well,
he became
a golf rock star. Well, no, Dan, he was sloppy. He was reckless. He was different from any golfer you've ever seen. But really what made him a golf rock star was the fact that man doing it that way has 2 majors. I mean, there are guys who are stuck at 0. There are guys who have 1 major. John Daly has won 2 majors, and that's what created the legend of John Daly.
And hits the ball a mile.
There can't be a possibility that he's going to be able to see the end of 2022, is there?
Whoa.
Wow.
Dark
he
boy.
is living a life.
Dark.
Whoa. You're killing him in the next few months?
Yes.
That's how dark your season has turned.
Yes.
You are saying, and you're choosing him in the death pool to be so unhealthy that he's going to die. Roy, why are you doing this with such confidence?
Because I'm broken, Dan. If my hockey team's going to
You're
die
lashing
yesterday,
out and
everybody
you're
else is
killing
gonna die.
John Daly. I think that's a $50 fine.
Whoa!
We all have to pick someone now. That's the way that game goes.
Yeah.
Right.
Put money on it.
Well, it's not a fine. It's only a fine if he dies, right? Like, I don't.
If you
how does that
actually
work?
kill him, that feels like
Yes.
No, the highest fine, right? If you kill him?
Yeah, that's
Right,
got to be
yeah.
at least $60.
Roy, we had this discussion. Stan Van Gundy and I had this discussion. Do you feel worse after getting swept in the playoffs or blowing a 3-1 lead? As a fan, are you in more pain right now than you would be if you were up 3-1 in the series and they lost the next 3 games?
I feel better than I would be a Maple Leafs fan because that's what happened to them against Boston a couple years ago. But no, this high expectation of them going to the Cup final, them getting swept, is disappointing. But again, back-to-back champions, they did that too. They are playoff ready, no matter how lack of depth. Okay, we're not going to talk about it.
No, I don't. Look, you have spewed forth your sorrow, and it's a terrible day around here, and it's what the people want. This show is broken today. Mike's unhinged over here. Haberstrom's picking the Celtics. Mike's lost confidence in his team already.
I haven't been unhinged. I've been very calm.
Mike, in the shadows, I've seen you. You, Mike. It's not just value betting.
Rational analysis.
You are now scared of this team officially. Like, it's the thing that people want.
Well, I am pissed at Bam on a bio.
Well, but people they've noticed that you've been very loud. And today, around this team, in private and in public, you've gotten quiet because Boston did something to you in the way of embarrassment that looks like a shaming. And Haberstrom and I were talking, and I don't want to bring out the excuse machine at the moment, but Haberstrom and I were talking, and he is talking about these bodies in these playoffs, all of them, not just Miami's, Boston's too, and everybody being in and out of games and stuff, that because of the greed of grinding your way through the pandemic and the way we saw bodies break last year, where Milwaukee and Miami season, or the seasons that flip depending on how much rest you'd had. The teams that went deepest in the bubble were the ones that collapsed because of the wear and tear on the body. Your reporting and research on this has been groundbreaking, Tom. You have been somebody who has been covering the chronicling of, we've been doing it wrong forever. The way that we're grinding these bodies into the ground, that labor, these periods of rest are required for these bodies. We're grinding them into the ground. What's the kind of physical shape all four of these teams are in?
Well, you look at Jimmy Butler, we talk about, hey, a day of rest will help him, but he's traveling. He's flying from Boston to Miami in an off day, quote unquote. And this sort of like game on, day off is to try to cram in the season to make sure that we get back to that October to June schedule. And what happens is the bodies aren't able to recover. We are paying the tax right now on Jimmy Butler. That photo of him resting on that chair in the finals, exhausted. People around the league looked at that photo and said, they're going to pay for that. Jimmy Butler's career is probably going to be shorter because of what they did in that bubble and having to come back the next season after just a 1-month layoff. I mean, they came back, that was October 2020, and the season started in December. And Jimmy Butler went through the grinder to put that team into the finals, and now you're seeing, like, is his knee shot? Is he ever going to be able to get to the finals again?
Well, I would ask you from here, where Kawhi Leonard broke up with the San Antonio Spurs and the idea of old school management types like Pat Riley, who's protected an empire against player empowerment, where it bucks up against Spoelstra and the throwing of the clipboard. And hey, Jimmy, can it be anywhere where Jermaine O'Neal says the following? Because he did say this. I didn't want to join the big three. And the reason I didn't want to join the big three, I could have been on the big three. I could have been the center instead of Dampier running around there and chancletas and the warden and a bunch of guys who couldn't play center. I could have been the big three center, but I chose not to because I looked into my cupboard one night and I wanted Oreos. And I knew that the Miami Heat's body fat percentage thing was 8%, and I now couldn't have Oreos. I'm 30 years old. I've made it to the greatest of lives. I'm gonna go fucking eat Oreos. And it's not, it's not unreasonable to say that some of these guys, I mean, that guy played for Thibodeau. For Butler to get tired?
Yeah.
For Butler to get tired of how hard you guys gonna push me to get, because Jermaine O'Neal getting under 8%, that's a lot. I mean, that's a lot to ask a man that size.
But who's also like considerably a leaner kind of guy when you think about his body type throughout the years. But yeah, I mean, I think at some point you have options, right? And everyone always assumes that the easiest path is the path that everyone wants to take, but the easiest path isn't necessarily always to success, championship. Sometimes it's like, I just want to live my life and be part of a pretty good team, because he went to Boston that year, and Boston ended up being a conference final. It's not like he went and signed with like the Sacramento Kings and threw it all away for Oreos. He went somewhere else where he thought he'd have a chance to win a championship and also eat Oreos.
Can anybody in that room tell me what he's actually going through physically right now? Because knee inflammation has popped up a couple times this season. He sat out a couple games for it. What's the treatment for this sort of thing? Will he get his knee drained at any point? I know Dwayne Wade, during several of his finals runs, was dealing with this similar injury, and it would be weird. When he looked bad, you'd be like, that's a knee. But then the very next game, he'd come back and put up a vintage performance.
But let's do this, please, and we'll get to Stugotz's weekend observations in a second. But as we examine the churning through the greed of the pandemic to we need to keep getting the dollars. Just before this, Kevin Durant, with whatever the pressures were of being Kevin Durant, tried to come back through an Achilles injury thing that he shouldn't have maybe come back for on a team that maybe didn't need him, and his like leg falls apart, and then he's gone for a while, and his whole career trajectory changes from that. With that as the vantage point, isn't this fascinating what's happening right now? Like that we're talking about bodies here, and you're grinding through, and the fight with Kawhi Leonard and everyone else, the fight is, hey, Dwayne Wade had to take needles to the knee for several days and not get on a flight and fly across the country and have all sorts of rehab, and even then he'd sit out or not be able to get out there. Like, is Jimmy Butler giving years of his career right now more than even for Thibodeau? Because I thought Thibodeau was the one who was going to run that into the ground.
Well, I would love to know exactly what he's going through right now.
Well, we don't know, because all they say is right knee inflammation, and that can be from any number of factors that cause that. So it is purposely vague. It's like when they say someone hyperextended their knee, like that's the movement that happened, but that doesn't tell us what the injury was.
The actual pathology of the injury. Yeah. They're not saying it's his MCL or ACL or his quad. It's just knee inflammation is a catch-all, and we do this with, like, LeBron James lost the NBA Finals and said, "Oh yeah, I played through a broken hand, by the way." And the NBA is like, wait, we can't have that. We can't have people just lying about their health status and playing through games because of the gambling thing. But I think what's the problem is that the NBA schedule 82 games, and we're insistent on it being 82 games. Adam Silver's kind of softened on that a little bit recently and trying to do this midseason tournament. But it's eating its young in the sense that the stars are the ones that hurt. The ones that they're putting on TV and saying, hey, it's Luka versus Steph. Next game, it's going to be Jalen Brunson and Jordan Poole on the TV, and people at home are going to be like, wait, who are these guys? Like, I don't know who that is. So when you grind these NBA stars to the bone, that's when you have issues with the business side of things. And I think we're going to have a world war in the next CBA, Amin. The next CBA with owners are upset with the Kawhi Leonards of the world, the James Hardens of the world, the people who don't give it their all or take games off. Owners are not happy around the league right now because players are trying to take off, stars are trying to take seasons off to make sure they have a long-term betterment. I think
I'll tell you,
owners are
Tom, I will tell you that Golden State looks just fine. Like, they look fine. They look healthy. They look good. Luka's always out of shape. It doesn't matter how many seasons they cram into 1 year. That dude's just fat, okay? And I can tell you the other guy, I don't want to hear about these young stars. I don't want to hear about they're out of shape. They play 3 seasons in a year. You want to know who goes out there every single night and gives you 100% and gives you a plus 33?
Yes,
Al Horford.
Yes.
Okay?
Look, Stugotz, your takes have been amazing. I don't even want to hear about Tom Haberstrow's expertise anymore or Amin's expertise anymore. Your takes have been amazing. You told us all about Al Horford when it wasn't popular to be all about Al Horford. You stormed in here and said, today I insist that we honor Al Horford. And the only person in the playoffs who's had a better run than Al Horford is you for believing in Al Horford.
Thank you. Finally, someone acknowledges that I've been right about everything. Listen, I love Tom. I love Amin. You can bring him in. You have your basketball Illuminati, whatever they do. Okay, they're basketball experts, front office insiders. Okay, nailed Jason Tatum, nailed Al Horford, and I'm nailing the NBA Finals. Okay, it's going to be Heat Warriors despite Al Horford and how good he's playing because the Celtics just don't have enough around him. Okay, I'm telling you that right now.
Wow. Al Horford needs more help.
It'd be really unfair of Juju to take a still of what your face looks like presently with the caption "Luka's out of shape."
It's so good. Hey, before we get to Stugotz's weekend observations,
Mike.
The photo that Chris Long sent out the other day, I didn't know whether it was time-stamped or not, where it seemed to be Luka drinking a beer with Boban before, I think, Game 7, like in the afternoon, just before a game.
It was actually halftime of Game 7. Yeah.
Okay, but was it real?
It was a real picture of him drinking a beer, yes.
No, but was it real that it was hours before game time that Luke is having a beer?
You can't trust all the information you see on the internet these days. That's why you need to listen to Basketball Illuminati podcast with me and Amin, produced by Anthony Mays. Every week comes out on Wednesdays because we give you the truth. And that photo was being proliferated around social media, alleging that it was the game day, that he was at a bar drinking. That was not true. That was another day in between
good to
games.
Know. I'm glad I have the experts
Illuminati,
here.
Illuminati. Say 3 times. Keep your third eye open.
And Stugotz, just in case you weren't paying attention, that's what we do over there. Yes, whatever it is, you guys, that's what we do.
Yes,
we debunk.
And
things.
you should know, by the way, if we have not sold it appropriately enough, it's doing well enough without our help. But Basketball Illuminati is unlike anything in this sphere. If you really like the analysis that guys like Tom and Amin bring us, because I do believe their analysis is more sophisticated than and Zach Harper too, most of the people talking about this stuff.
And look, people ask, how is it different? I'm gonna tell you this how it's different. We do a little bit on the topical thing of the day, but a lot of it is stuff that's kind of bigger picture stuff. So you can listen to old episodes and it's not outdated because we're not talking about what defensive matchup should I have done in the second half. Like, no, we don't do that. We do a little bit in the agenda.
Bam's back.
Yeah, Bam's back. But
Bam.
So I was listening to this morning our conversation with Patrick Ruby. Patrick Ruby wrote this long article about conspiracy theories in sports, and one of them was the frozen envelope. And he's a great writer and an even better interview because the guy's funny. But the biggest thing about his story, which he wrote for ESPN, which ESPN paid him to write, was that it didn't run on ESPN because it got kiboshed somewhere down the chain. Yeah. And they said to him, hey, keep the money and keep the story. You can publish it wherever you want. So it's a great conversation. And then David Stern turned around and kind of twisted Patrick's words
to
make
brilliant.
it seem like he made it seem that there is no conspiracy surrounding the frozen envelope in the 1985 draft lottery that gave Patrick Ewing to the New York Knicks.
If you want the truth about the NBA, Amin and I have been around the league for over a decade. Decades of experience, seeing how the cabal works. If you want to know what really happens behind closed doors, listen to Basketball Illuminati as I flip over this cup on the table.
Billy, what are you doing back there? What are you're up to some mischief?
No, just doing my thing.
Okay, great. Thanks for all the help. Let's keep it moving and move into Stugotz's weekend observations here. We're a little late to this particular party.
To share his game notes. No one in the media will tell you what happened better than my boy Stu.
Weekend observations brought to you by Miller Lite. Great taste, 96 calories, available for delivery. Dan, every year it marks the beginning of the major season. True fans of the sport know this might be the most difficult major to win. We know it takes a special player, and it requires a specific skill set to survive. The sliding, the slice game, the dirty socks, and the clay.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
The clay.
Oh, there it is.
And not just any clay, Dan. This clay is red.
Oh, it is. Yes, it is.
At a little place I like to call...
Oh, he likes to call it this.
Roland Garros.
Yes, sultry and sexy, Stugotz.
Oui.
No one else calls it that. And Dan, just like that.
Holy shit.
Make no mistake about it. The French Open is back.
Yes, Stugotz is keeping it alive. Keeping it alive in America.
Just me and Mike.
Clay. Just Stugotz with a profound love of just clay.
I love red clay. Mike, you have a flyer on the French Open for me? You got one?
I always like Monfils in this one.
Okay.
Oh, Monfils, a classic clay court player.
Slider man. Slider man.
Yes.
My son.
Yep. Yu Darvish is a Padre.
He's been a Padre for several years.
He's pitched like 4 games. It's weird. I mean, Yu Darvish.
I don't know.
What happened, Mike?
Yu Darvish has been a Padre for at least... This is his 3rd season as a Padre.
I'm not certain. I mean, look it up.
I'm not certain. Look it up, and there it is. He just made you back away from the microphone. You can look it up, and he will not be certain after you look it up as well. It will not be hard to look up. He's just waiting to move on to his next observation.
No, I think it's a statement of fact. He is a Padre.
That's right. That is correct.
He's been a Padre for 2 seasons. So you say he's only pitched 4 times. He pitched 30 times last season.
Wow.
There's also a star next to his name on Baseball Reference, which would indicate that he was an all-star for the Padres last season.
He was? Amazing.
He was indeed an all-star for the Padres last season.
It has been looked up.
I don't know.
Witty did his own research.
So I was right.
Yes, of course. He is a Padre.
Yu Darvish, the rare pitcher that on any given fifth day can either give you a perfect game or require Tommy John surgery.
So true. It's so true.
Dan, you know what the Y in U stands for?
I do not.
You never know.
Oh, that was beautiful in honor of Greg Cody.
Thank you. Y and U, a little confusing.
Yes. yeah.
The Y's a little redundant.
Sunday.
It is.
Sorry, I wrote these over the
let's
weekend.
just say it. Let's just say it. Is the Y and U redundant? Because now I'm glad you finally said it. I'm glad it's just been said. We're all hiding from it, and it's just not necessary. We've got the U. I think.
Sunday, 9 p.m. Eastern. Hey, NBA. Fuck off. Seriously. What a glorious time for college football. Everyone is so confused. Dan, you know what the C in college football stands for? You have to know, Dan.
I do not. Confused.
Oh, there you go. You knew. How
Yes.
about that? I'm so proud of you.
I'm sorry. Sorry for knowing. It's so much better when I don't. Are you okay,
It is
Amin?
better
Because you hit a cough
Yeah, you
button.
coughed
but
very
started-
subtly
Coughed, I
there.
couldn't hear
you
it.
coughed. You were coughing with such fury and force, thinking you were holding the cough button, doing gymnastics, but the microphone was still picking up every heaving sound you made.
It's almost like sitting in a closed room with someone who is sick is probably
I
not
told
good for
you
me.
guys not to be in here, and you came in here
That's why I'm
anyway.
here.
Go ahead. That's why Stugotz wasn't here. It's why we're not on television today. Moving on. I'm glad I could get us all sick. I tested negative. Please continue, Stugotz.
Tested negative for every disease?
Wow. Everything.
Just COVID.
Yes, for everything.
One of 1,000
flu?
diseases. Yes.
I'm testing negative right now for skewing into a crowded room where I've gotten you all sick when I asked you not to be here. Go ahead, Stugotz. Continue.
Jason Kidd said he was irked by the shot selection of the Mavs in the third quarter of Game 2. When you were the head coach of the team that displayed poor shot selection, are you allowed to be irked by anything your team does?
Dan's
You
tone
kind of
is-
control whether or not you are irked.
Excellent timing.
Was that a
Amin.
mean?
Yeah, sorry. Dan's tone is kind of tested negative too, by the way.
Okay, speak up into the microphone, professional broadcaster. Go ahead, Stugotz.
Dallas Mavericks, live by the 3, die by the 3. Someone tell me, and I can't see him right now. It's a little difficult to do that. Like, yeah. I mean, I got
He was laughing at his own joke that in a small window he spit out a theater of the mind. He was just sort of narcissistically enjoying the smell of his own farts.
How's this going?
Sorry, Stugotz. Continue.
I mean, I can understand that. I'm proud of you. In this week's edition of I've Seen It All, MVP chance for Kevon Looney.
That's crazy. That is
balloon dog.
crazy.
Deserve it.
A complete game shutout. Congratulations to Rangers pitcher Martin Perez for going the distance.
Billy, you got one this weekend. How did it feel? Were you moved? One of 6 complete games this season now belongs to the Marlins. They should have broken into programming.
Yeah. I was actually texting with you guys, and I was like, I don't think that he should still be in this game. He's about to blow.
It was
this game.
100 some odd
Yeah.
pitches, and then Aguilar just sort of dropped a pop up in foul territory. You were furious with him, and they left him out
then there
there.
was like a parade of doubles, and then a 4-1 lead becomes a 4-3 lead, and I was like, let's just please. An injury's coming, I can feel
Donnie
it.
never does that. He never. And is he now injured?
I don't think so. I mean, Dan, don't put that out there.
I'm sorry,
Jeez.
Stugotz. Please continue.
Local Miami TV commercial claiming the best option to sell your home is to sell it to something called sellitToBobby.com.
Yeah.
Is the most Miami thing ever.
Isn't it though? Yeah.
I wish I came up with that.
Sell it to Bobby.com.
Sellittostu.com.
Just send me your money.
Speaking of commercials, AT&T and Matthew Stafford. Enough.
Oh yeah, enough. Yes,
We get
enough.
it.
Enough. Yeah.
It was a good trade. We get it. Worked out for everyone.
Yeah. Wink, wink. You're
Except
great
the
now.
Lions.
never-
They only have one commercial when they run it so often.
They're never in the same room. They're not in the same room. Matthew Stafford is looking not in the eyes of the AT&T girl.
I've heard about this theory that Lily shoots her stuff separate, and everyone who's in a commercial with
couldn't be bothered to show up and film a commercial?
No, I think it's Lily. Lily's the star that you don't get to just be in her presence. She shoots her stuff, and then any other people they want to have cameos and cute stuff, LaMelo Ball's hey, you do that on someone else's time, not Lily's time.
Wow.
Lily's busy.
News break.
Does Jake shoot with people or no?
Which Jake?
From State Farm.
Jake shoots with people.
I don't think the Carl Anthony Towns one, I think, is two separate ones as well.
No.
I think I'm on to that one, too.
Tom, stop. I was in Cleveland when Jake from State Farm was cowering in the corner waiting for an Uber for 2 hours while it snowed outside in a most ridiculous outfit ever. I can guarantee you, Jake does not have those powers. He has to shoot with people.
Wow, you just threw around your bona fides of the reporting you did in Cleveland.
Finally got a payoff on the Cleveland trip.
Finally, yes, the Cleveland trip has now produced some valuable information. You yelled at Tom to give us the bona fides of, no, I will tell you how that commercial is made, and this is how it's made.
Absolutely. And by the way, the Cleveland stuff that didn't make it, probably for the best.
Well, were you also waiting around for 2 hours for an Uber? Because how did you have eyes on him for 2 hours?
Yeah, great point.
That's exactly what I was doing. The difference is, I was social, Jake from State Farm. I went inside the bar. I had a drink with the people. I took pictures. Meanwhile, this guy tried to hide and camouflage himself like people didn't know it was Jake from State Farm. Hello, you're Jake from State Farm. That's what you do.
Real Channing Tatum, this guy.
Allegedly.
That was a nice nugget by Habistro, though. You're saying they're not in the same room ever? Like,
just watch. You're going to see it 1,000 more times.
I don't want to watch it anymore. I'm tired of it.
Keep your third eye open on that commercial.
Mm-hmm.
Hootie and the Blowfish. Mick Ultra. Jimmy Butler. Odd mix.
It really is.
Thank you. Lewis Hamilton wanted to quit. Then finished 5th. Something's going on there.
What does that mean?
I'll get to the bottom of it. Something's going on. I'm investigating. I'm laying the groundwork right now. I'm telling you that something is going on. I will get to the bottom of it somehow, some way.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all. The S in Sergio Perez stands for screwed over his own team.
Screwed over by his own team.
It's okay. It's he's tired.
There's two sides to every story.
Moderno.
Exactly right. COVID.
Checo.
Apparently, they ran the Preakness over the weekend. Huh.
That's good commentary right there.
Yeah.
That concludes our Preakness coverage.
Well, did you know?
And it was good.
Horse racing is dead, Dan.
Okay.
I mean, you know that, right?
Well, it just wasn't it just last week that some incredible underdog story happened?
Yeah, but that's what happens. Listen, they try to bait you in with the Derby, and then hopefully the Derby winner wins the Preakness.
But it was a horse that was.
Yeah, but they didn't run in the Preakness, so there's no chance of a Triple Crown. The only reason we watch the sport is for the Triple Crown. It's dead.
Load management.
If the horse that wins the Kentucky Derby says this race isn't worth it, why should I think it's worth it, you know?
Exactly
Thank you, Billy.
Such a great point.
Are these getting longer?
PJ Tucker sounds like a great Irish pub.
Oh,
Top really 5 does. People in sports whose name sounds like a great Irish pub.
Oh, yes, here it goes. Let's go.
Number 5. Bill O'Brien's.
Yes. Bar and Grill.
O'Brien's, yes.
Bar and Grill.
Yeah, it's a bar and grill, too. Number 4. Marty McSorley's.
Oh,
wow. Yeah, McSorley's a great name.
Bar.
3 better than that one?
Great name.
Number 3. Conor McGregor's.
Oh, we're going straight Irish, just Irish. Is it Connor's? Is it McGregor's? It's both. It's okay.
I mean, it could just be McGregor's, right? Number 2. Ryan Fitzpatrick's.
The college Irish bar. It's right next to the campus. Yeah, Fitzpatrick.
And number 1. Patty Harrington's.
What? Where's Shaughnessy's?
You need a Shaughnessy's. How do you not have a Shaughnessy's there?
Shaughnessy's.
How did you forget about Shaughnessy's?
And a Bryant McKinney's.
Or Jeff Ireland.
Jeff Ireland.
Johnny O'Brien, I mean.
Oh, Johnny O'Brien.
Where's Shaquille O'Neal's?
Jermaine O'Neal's.
Here come the Twinkies.
Look out.
Al Horford. 1 of 2 from the field.
Yeah, here we go.
Plus 33.
Yes. Here we go.
Dan.
Yes.
That's Al Horford.
Yeah, it is. Yes, it is.
Yep. The only team that could beat Golden State is a team of 5 Al Horfords.
His beautiful eyes.
Yes,
oh,
yes.
he's so beautiful.
Yes, he is smoldering.
Oh.
Big announcement, Dano. I have decided that Padres pitcher Joe Musgrove is a horse.
Oh, huge announcement.
Big.
Caballo.
Very big. Yep. Softball player Montana Fouts. So close to the perfect name. That, of course, is Montana Marino.
Oh, it is so close. It's so very close.
No one's ever been closer.
I mean, I think you're right about that. Like, that is the closest anyone's gotten. I mean, unless, yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. The Florida Panthers are a goaltender and a John Tortorella away.
Oh, no.
Torts. I felt like Jack Palance in Tango and Cash over the weekend. Walking around my house muttering, Kucherov, Stamkos.
Yes.
If it's not Kucherov, it's Stamkos. If it's not Stamkos, it's Kucherov. All I needed was a rat in each hand.
Yes.
Stroking it.
I swear to God, I did not have to pee at the start of this, and now my bladder is about to explode.
Manchester City, never do it the easy way, was so ready to call them chokers. Can't think of too many things more boring in sports than the NASCAR All-Star race. Top 5 most boring things in sports. I will get through them quickly. Mike Ryan, number 5. When the Panthers play the Lightning. Number 4, the dunk contest. Number 3, baseball. Number 2, the NASCAR All-Star race. And number 1, soccer. Here come the Redbirds. Tiger Woods. When the going gets tough, the tough drop out of the tournament. Of course, Chris Paul has a ring sponsor. He can't win one on his own. Chris Paul, the Aura ring is the only ring you're ever going to get. And you certainly got plenty of room on those fingers. Tim Anderson has a flair for the dramatic. Shaq said Charles Barkley is going to hell. Thanks, Shaq, for providing me with the all-time laziest transition to Art Briles. Hey, Chuckster, when you get there, make sure you say hello to Art for me. Dan, those are the weekend observations.